A lot of us, we have this idea of something that we want to reach for, something we want to go after. It may be this goal, this result that we're trying to go after, maybe something we want to experience. And we'll be thinking about this for a while, like, oh, I want to go and do this, and thinking about how awesome and pleasurable it's going to be once we actually go do it. But we don't take the necessary actions to actually go out and achieve it. And it's not because we're lazy. It's not because, we don't really want it or anything. It's just that we don't feel ready. There's been so many things in my life where I've wanted to go out and achieve, but I didn't think that at the time I had the resources necessary to do it right or to actually be successful in it. So I just keep waiting and waiting and waiting for the moment to be perfect, waiting for, the time where I had more resources, whether it was like more money or more experience, more credibility, and just all of these different things. But now I've realized, like, from the things that I have been able to achieve so far in life, the things that I have been able to experience, you don't need to be ready. And in most cases, you're never going to feel ready, but you've got to start anyway. You've got to start when you don't feel ready, because for a lot of the things, you're just never going to feel ready. And that's completely okay. By taking action, you're going to figure things out along the way, and you're going to, eventually get to the place that you need to be. Like, a way you can think about it is, imagine there's like this very, very long road that stretches out for miles and miles. And at the very end of that, like, there's the result that you want, whether it's an experience that you want, a goal that you're trying to achieve, whatever it is. Now, that if you were to just like go down this path, you would eventually get to where you need to be. But the path is very long and it's very foggy outside, and, you can barely see even a mile ahead. Because we don't see like the road ahead, because we don't know what obstacles may be in our way, we just stop and we like freeze and, don't make those next steps. But the truth is, if you were to just take one step at a time, even though, you don't know everything right now, even though the path is not clear, if you just take one step at a time, you're going to be able to see more. You're going to be able to see a little bit further ahead. And maybe you see that there's this obstacle, but you're never going to know until you actually start, if that makes sense. Especially for the more important things that you want to achieve, the more important things that you want to experience. The path is never going to be like crystal clear. The path is never going to be, very obvious, especially from the beginning. A lot of the times you've just got to make those first steps and keep pushing, and you're going to experience obstacles. You're going to experience those things that, you didn't know and you couldn't account for. But that's actually a good thing. That's actually a sign that you're making progress. And you've just got to figure out the way to go from that point. Even if you think back to something you may have achieved in your own life in the past, imagining yourself from ground zero when you didn't know anything about it, the path wasn't clear. Like, the path may be clear to you now because, you've gone through that experience, you've gone down that road and achieved in whatever that thing is. But at the very, very beginning, you didn't have all that knowledge. You didn't know what may have lied ahead of you, but you just made progress. You kept going. Even though you didn't have everything that you needed, or you may not have known if you had everything that you needed, you just put one foot in front of the other. And eventually you ended up getting to whatever that result is that you wanted. Sometimes in life, especially, at least from my experience, you've just got to start before you know everything. You've got to start before you feel ready. For me, when I was a lot younger and I was trying to build more muscle, I had no idea about like all of these different things. Like, I didn't even know a gym existed. I didn't know anything about, things like protein and, actually the science about how to build muscle. But I just started out doing push-ups. Like, as soon as I woke up in the morning, I tried to hit 10 push-ups, and like, that was the only goal that I had. And just by doing that, I was taking a step further. And once I, took that step, I started making some progress. I started to build a little bit more muscle. Then I started, eventually do more research about it. Okay, is there a better way to build muscle? Is there, what are all of these extra things? And really for any area of life, you're not going to know everything because you're not even going to know the obstacles that are ahead of you. You're not going to know the questions that you need to be asking in the first place. And you can only find that out by taking the first few steps and then encountering that obstacle. And then once you encounter that obstacle, then you can find out how to actually overcome that obstacle. But if you don't know the obstacle is ahead of you, how are you going to prepare for it? Like, you're not going to be ready anyways. And if you wait until you feel ready, by that point, the opportunity is going to have passed and you're going to realize how easy it would have been if you just would have started. I'm making this video for the young version of me who was scared to start, to just do so many things in life because I was just so afraid of making mistakes. I was so afraid of not knowing if I was ready, not knowing what to do. But it's just a normal thing. It's a natural thing that happens. You're not going to know everything, and that's completely okay. That's kind of part of the journey. That's kind of like the exciting thing about the journey. It's not a flaw. It's a feature. And not even just for the younger version of myself. Like, I constantly have to remind myself of this. Like, when there are some things that I want to go out and achieve, like maybe these long-term goals and ambitions, I'll think to myself, oh my gosh, I have absolutely no clue how I'm going to achieve this. But I've just got to remember, hey, just take that first step. You're not going to know. You're not going to have that clarity because whatever you're trying to achieve is miles ahead and there's a whole bunch of fog. But hey, if you just take one step at another and then you encounter an obstacle and then you figure out, okay, this is what I need to do to get to the next level. Okay, keep doing that. That's been the process in my experience, and I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Peace out.